everyone, and welcome to another interview for Leadership Unscripted. And I'm your host, Eliana Rojas. And today I'm excited and grateful to welcome Heidi Piper. Heidi, how are you today?
I'm doing great. Thanks, Eliana. How are you?
I'm doing amazing. And I have to say that, Heidi, you are a global leadership coach, author, and transformational catalyst with a 30 plus year career at Procter Gamble, where you led innovation for brands that generated over 100 billion in sales. From Europe to Asia to the Americas, you built high performing teams grounded in emotional intelligence and bold vision. Today, you empower leaders and organizations to lead with love, blending strategy, self mastery, and deep systemic awareness. With your trauma informed whole person approach, you help clients navigate uncertainty, spark innovation, and create meaningful change. You are an extraordinary coach and an author of another book and one more coming up. So I'm honored to have you with us here today.
Thank you so much. Thanks.
Awesome. So I just want to start by asking you, like, what compelled you to contribute to Leadership Unscripted, and why is now the right time to share this part of your journey?
Well, I think right now times are very uncertain and there's a lot of change and people are seeking support and they want to know things are going to be okay. So I thought that sharing my own transformational journey would be helpful for others.
That is amazing, and your chapter is so beautiful that I'm positive that all the readers are really gonna love it, and then are gonna want to learn more about Heidi and be able to get like your other books, which are also amazing. So thank you for doing that. Was there at any point in time, as you were revisiting your story for this chapter in particular, where there was an insight or a shift in perspective that surprised you the most?
Well, I think the big surprise about the whole experience was that so much good can come out of so much pain. It's really not obvious when you're in the middle of it. But I found a quote as I was writing the book by Rumi that said, "A wound is the place where the light enters you." And I found that really to be true in the end.
I love that, and such a beautiful quote as well. Was there any point in your chapter, and again, as you reflect on your intersection, not only as a seasoned leader, but also as a coach, like where do they both mix together?
Well, I think that we're educated as leaders to lead others. And the insight that I had is all of these leadership skills that we have leading others can be applied also to ourselves. And that to me feels like also in the topic of leadership, a new and emergent concept. The same principles really apply in the end. Treating ourselves as we would treat others brings a lot of benefit. On top of that, I'm more and more convinced that the most important work that leaders can do is their own inner work, because the state of the leader and the capacity of the leader to handle turmoil, chaos, rapid cycles of change is reflected in the capacity of the organization to do the same.
That is so important, and it actually leads me to reflect. And you said it in a way at the beginning, in terms of these, times of disruption where things are just changing. They're always changing, but I think now they're like changing at an accelerated rate every day. You don't know what you're gonna come up with, or what's going to happen. But in terms of what you're saying, is there anything in particular that you believe that today's leaders need to truly unlearn based on, the past way leadership was managed, so that they can lead more powerfully and more authentically in this new future that we're facing all in the workplace.
Yes, I do. I actually talk a lot about that in my new book, Lead with Love, the Head, Heart, and Hands Leadership Needed Now. I think that leaders are programmed, and I was also programmed the same way, to think that more work is better. And I think that doing the right work at the right time is better. It's much more efficient, and it allows for a more balanced way of being that in the end generates a lot more productivity at the same time that it generates more well-being.
Absolutely. And that part of looking at leaders and leadership in a whole 360 point of view, I love it, because we're not just a one side, we're a combination of sides and stories and lived experiences, which all are a part of us, and they show up in how we lead. So absolutely important. Thank you. Is there a defining moment that shaped your leadership voice or coaching philosophy? And I know that you share a lot of that, not only in this chapter but also in your other books. But is there something that you know that this is important and true to how you approach coaching and leadership?
Yes, I think when you go through your own dark night of the soul, if you will, it really breeds a very deep compassion within you, because you've been in the dark place. You've really deeply suffered, and that allows you to be with others with compassion, with understanding, and with acceptance for what they're going through, and not try to rush to fix something immediately or make it go away. I think one of the most important lessons I learned, that in order to heal, you need to really be with and feel your emotions. And so that's definitely part of my coaching process, supporting that, meeting people where they are and supporting them to be with whatever is happening. And I also experienced personally the deep healing that just having another person sit with you and listen to what's happening to you can generate. And I also include that in the coaching process. And finally, I would say that I learned how we store emotions in our bodies, and that it's possible to access the subconscious and our emotions through our bodies. And so I added that whole process, what's often referred to as somatic elements, or body sensing and communication elements, into the coaching practice, because that allows information and insights to bubble up that would be harder to get with just a more mental approach.
I love that part of not only your story but also your coaching philosophy and the way you approach coaching, because I think especially today where everything is so fast, so now taking the time to pause and taking the time to listen, not only listen others, but listen ourselves, to your point, like listen our body, listen our mind, listen our inner thoughts. It just feels contradicting, like, but I don't even have time to do anything, to drink water. How can I have time to pause? But it becomes so critically important. So thank you for so much for sharing. And I know we are inviting everybody to read your chapter for leadership Unscripted. But I also wanted to just take a moment. Where can they find your other books? Because it is important for everybody to know.
Yes, so they're on Amazon. And the first book, which is the extended story of the chapter that I put in Leadership Unscripted, is called Choose Love: How to Move Through Heartache with Grace and Rise Like a Phoenix. And then the new book that's just coming out now is called Lead with Love: The Head, Heart, and Hands Leadership Needed Now. And so they're both
Awesome.
available there.
Awesome. And this one is as well, available on Amazon. So you have a long list of books that you can check out. Many of our authors have also other books. So check all of those out, because it's important to share our stories. It's important to share our wisdom, our thoughts, and that's how we create connection, but that's how we also create visibility to spaces and to ideas that we might not have even thought on our own. So thank you so much, Heidi, for sharing your wisdom with us here today. And thank you, everybody, for listening and for checking us out on Leadership Unscripted. And don't forget to check out for the book on leadershipunscriptedbook.com, on Amazon as well, and to check out all the other episodes with all of our coaches. Thank you so much, everybody. And we wish you well anywhere in the world you are. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Eliana.